put your hands. Now I want you to feel my hands on your hands. That's how I want you to hold the fabric. And here we go. Very, very gently.
There was a time not too long ago where Mom made all the clothes for the family, and she taught the next generation because that is what it took to survive. We're making a piece of clothing straight out of history, something worn every day on a homestead out west, back in the settler days of the 1800s. And we're upping the ante by doing it on a 100-year-old Treadle machine. This cabin is off-grid, so our feet are the power. We've fixed this Singer sewing machine up, spent months in the prep and start of this project, and finally today, in the heat of July, my dear friend Susan and I, along with my little girl Maggie, will be making serious progress. So let's light the wood stove, heat up the irons, and whip up a batch of HAYMAKERS punch, or 1800s Switchel, to get us through the heat of the days as we work.
But all women, I'm gonna generalize, wore aprons. And they didn't go without their apron, because if they did, then their dress would get dirty. So they don't want their dress to get dirty.
Maggie, they had a lot less clothes back in the day. They just had a few.
2 or 3 dresses, maybe.
And they loved their dresses just like you do.
Yeah. Pockets for eggs, carrots, onions, a lot of Kleenexes if the kids have runny noses.
This machine is really special, but it is touchy. And you're about to see me break the thread over and over again. Every time.
You're only on like threading number 3.
Yeah.
Let's practice. Ready to roll. Turn around and go 5 stitches.
Okay.
So 5 stitches. Yeah.
All right, I've got the hang of it for now on some scrap pieces, but it's on to the real show. We're working on the straps now. The main body is all cut out and the front pockets are sewn. We started this back in the dead of winter. You can catch all of that on our first sewing episode, which I'll link at the end of this video. The shoulder straps have to get sewn, but before that, they had to be pressed with a hot iron, which requires us to have the cook stove going on this July day. So we lit it early this morning, got a candle or 2 going, and started the day as any pioneer family would have to, with coffee and breakfast.
It's my morning. I want to show you something. Can we? So if I have a piece of wood that doesn't fit, there's a way. My firebox is really small.
Oh,
on
right.
my stove, really small. So I go like this. Go like this. Lift that, shove it in, and you can put a huge one in there.
Oh.
Then you've got a slow bake.
Makes sense.
And in my stove's case, I can't get that in through here. Yours is half again as big, but you can still put a log in that big.
That stove is going. We move right into the work of the day, which for us is a day of sewing.
For the bobbin,
Okay.
push this button, bobbin lifts. I love these. These are just, they still make them this way. It was such a good design, they still do it this way. Okay, so now we're going to put this. And remember there's a slit, and we want the thread to come forward this way and then reverse and go back behind the slit. So we position the bobbin that way so that the thread comes off here.
I think the red-winged blackbird in the doorway was enjoying this lesson too.
And then it goes back through that little groove back here, and it makes a tiny little click. And then slip it there, and you're ready. That is really slick. Okay. Through this little hook, go between these 2 silver discs, back back behind that little sort of spring thing, this springy thing, under here, up through this eye, down through this.
Susan makes this look easy, but remembering all these steps has stumped me a time or two.
Behind this keeper, through the needle, from left to right. And this, of course, is the challenge. For anyone of a certain age. I mean, you know, if you're over 50. Let's see how we do here. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
First try, really.
Okay. Pressure foot and back.
This is one of those jobs that a frontier woman would have to squeeze in when and where she could. Winter would be a wonderful time to do it, but needs must, and summer sewing is a joy too. We're about to split off into some work parties here.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, bud. I love you.
Bye, Dad.
See you, Max.
All right. You're swathing? You're heading?
Oh,
We
George.
are.
One last
I won't tell Maggie about the 3 donuts we have in the swather.
Haha.
I'm
thing.
teasing.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. Love you guys.
Love ya.
The men are headed off to cut hay while the sun shines, and the girls, well, we're here to sew. There will be action going on all around us, and the day will start to heat up. But there's work to be done. That fire has to be kept hot, more firewood stocked, people hydrated, and then it's full steam ahead on sewing. I have learned over the times I've tried this machine that socks or soft slippers give me a better feel for the treadle. Getting my feet to work in unison with my hands is no quick feeling to master. Now Susan here, who's been my good friend for over a decade, she could make this apron in a day. She has sewn from childhood, and she learned on her mother's machine that was very much like this one. No power, just the control of feet and hands are going to make this ball of fabric into a functional and quite beautiful piece of clothing. Not just any piece of clothing either, an apron for gathering eggs, cooking meals by the wood stove, a very necessary piece to have.
See, how's it looking? We want a big log in there. Oh, it looks good.
I think it's good.
All right, time to put our homemade ironing board to work. We dampen the pieces with an old rag and grab the hot irons.
So what you want to do then, Jesse, is center these and just dampen it, and then we're going to test out our iron here. See what those are.
Not too hot and not too cool. The irons have to be just right, which means the wood stove has to be just right. Now, before the long shoulder straps were ironed, and before the silliness of trying to turn these straps inside out occurred, they had to be sewn.
She's almost there, Maggie. She's almost there. Okay, now we have to stop and you have to pull that pin out.
Then it was on to the interior facing pieces. Even a humble apron like this takes so many uniquely shaped and cut pieces. And a hot iron was needed for every one of them.
It's hot.
It's hot.
You are going to turn this under like that much and then press it. So you're going to go along, turning, pressing, turning, pressing. And you can't hold your iron too long
I can see the steam.
because you'll scorch.
I want to try it. Okay. Turning, pressing. Turning, pressing. Turning, pressing. That is a hot iron.
Oh, that looks good.
Okay.
It's a hot iron. Perfect. And let's put this back on.
And then with edges crisp, the singer was ready to sing. And it was my turn to sew, though this time there were a lot of curves.
Ooh, that ironing is
And I think the heat was starting to get to me.
And you,
Dang it.
And you, did you break it?
Yep, I did.
Number 5.
Yep. No, that's like number 6.
No.
Laugh it up, you guys.
Just do the strap. It says baste, we're basting. So what that does is attach the strap so it's not going to go anywhere. So let's read what's next.
So we finished that one. We're on to
Now
this
we're
one.
going to finish the lower edge of the front facing. Just do that. Now what you do is you pull this one and
under.
you keep going.
Oh. Everything's right. Press her foot down.
Press your foot down. Yeah. Oh, she's.
No fear. No fear.
It's a beautiful scene. Good.
Got it.
Okay.
I went backwards and I
No,
messed
you
it up
didn't.
again. Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
I forgot I had to look out for the needles. You'd think by now I would be careful about stopping.
Oh, no, you.
No?
I
Gotta
bet
thread
you've
it
never
again.
made a mistake.
Huh?
I bet you've never made a mistake.
Oh, I have always made terrible mistakes, but that's how you learn. That is how you learn, and then you make the same mistake again. You go, oh, I remember.
Have you ever made this mistake?
Oh, yeah, about 1,000,000 times. Okay.
Now each time I broke the thread by letting the wheel spin backward, I had to rethread the needle. Sometimes I messed it up so much, Susan had to help me cut apart the mess of threads that I created. But that's not the end of the world, just frustrating. It's amazing really how well this 1925 machine sews, considering the years of work it's put in and the years of neglect it faced afterwards. We actually spent quite a bit of time this winter oiling every nook and dusty cranny, wiping away layers of dirt, and putting a new belt onto it. All things considered though, this Singer has held its perfect stitching without really any intervention. A bit of polishing and inspection was all it really needed. Did it work?
Of course. Here we go.
Woo!
Listen to this.
Okay. This was my Christmas gift this year, and I feel crazy lucky to get to learn on it. And the next generation is learning on it too.
I'm going to sew all around, and this is right here on your dress. And sew all the way around, across this top, which is the shoulder, all the way around here, which is the neck.
Is that so neat?
Yeah.
And I'm going to go nice and slow. I don't want to hit pins, so I'm going to pull pins out. Almost as slow as I can go.
With a wood stove going in July, yeah, it's warming up in here. So let's call it a day and come back in the morning tomorrow when the air is cool again. But this is what it took back in the day. If you wanted to get work done, it often meant lighting a fire. And many a man and woman knew the feeling of hot rooms in the summer and cold, blocked-off rooms in the winter, when chopping wood meant that you were often stingy with how much of the house you'd heat. Robbie is staying at his work of swathing, raking, and baling the hay, so we pick up George, and the kids and I are about to take the afternoon for some adventure. Way up on the hillside, in the pine trees, we set up a hammock and had a great view of Robbie and his dad down below baling hay. We were lucky to have an hour's time to escape.
That stops it, Mom. This stops.
We landed safely at the usual place, near Rockburg. The turtle was executed, and soon the shell, which was quite 8 feet long and 3 broad, was cleaned and prepared to form a trough for the water supply at the cave, and the meat was carefully salted and stored up for many a good and savory meal.
The next morning, it was time to get back at it.
We'll see if it goes. It's the hardwood.
But given that today was set to hit well into the 90s, we had planned ahead. Susan suggested an old treat known as Switchel,
Number 9.
or as Robbie had heard of it in a Little Britches story, HAYMAKERS punch, a drink made during the long hot days of haying, when the family needed energy and refreshment from the beating sun.
What variety?
Again, the wood stove was lit, and in a cabin like this today, we're gonna need something cool to keep us going. This Switchel recipe is straight from the 1800s, and it's meant to be chilled in the cellar to become the ideal temperature. This recipe calls for half a gallon drinking water, half a cup raw honey or molasses, but we went with honey today, and a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. This stuff was made from apples right here on the ranch. And 1 teaspoon up to 1 tablespoon of ginger. Then we added fresh mint from the garden. Into the cellar beneath the house it went, and in an hour or two we were sweating and chomping at the bit to taste it. Today heated up fast. It's like air conditioning.
It does.
That's honestly pretty good. Now, I am not exaggerating when I say this is a new staple. I will make this again and again. What we didn't polish off right then and there, we took to Robbie out in the fields later. And after a chilling back home that evening, it honestly got better and better with some age. If you like kombucha, you will love the subtle zip of this. So refreshing. But before we had exhausted ourselves enough to need Switchel, we sewed, we ironed, and pretty soon a pile of fabric started to look like something.
Okay, this is understitching, which holds the edge in place. So we're going to sew from here over to this double pin, which is just marking where to stop and start. And these pins are holding the seam allowance. I want you to sew right along here.
Hey, Mom. Mom, you threw one down.
I threw one down?
Look at it. A little bit.
A little bit. I must
a little bit. No problem. And part of this is just having the confidence with your feet.
Yeah.
And in a difficult stitching like this is, get everything smoothed out for 1 inch.
Okay.
And then stop. And instead of trying to keep going. And I know that's just a nervousness about your feet.
Kids, can you be quiet for me?
Yeah, so just get everything positioned and sew about 1 inch.
Here we go. I start the wheel and I go about 1 inch. Then I pause and I'm feeling the underside to make sure my fabric's in the right place. It may be a bit slow going for me, but check out this result. This is gonna be really cool. Look, Maggie, look at this.
Wow, your mom's like a model. See?
Oh, no, I think you should take these few pins out.
No,
not yet.
We're getting into the real art of sewing now, trying to adjust the fit, to figure out exactly how the long straps are meant to connect and where the front needs to sit. It's a lot of back and forth. Trial and error.
A pin, please, Maggie. Pin, thank you.
This is an old butterick pattern, spot on for the date of this 1889 homestead house that we're working in today. This was built back before Montana was even a state. A woman back then would have lovingly selected her fabric and then done the work herself of shaping and sewing according to the pattern. We laughed a lot during this process about how my generation has next to no knowledge of sewing. A few lucky ones out there keeping the skills alive. Heck, my husband Robbie took sewing in school and could wipe the floor with me when it comes to skills.
You're doing something instinctively.
Yeah.
That's good. So what you're doing is you're keeping, with your left hand, you're keeping things under control, but your right hand is holding that wheel. In a situation like this where you're not just sew,
Right.
you have control and you've got your hand on that wheel.
Okay. It's back to the ironing board, cutting the straps to length, and then one more test fit.
See how when you slide sideways, you get that nice crisp seam. This is beautiful fabric.
Maggie, look, I'm doing it. This process of learning to sew on an old Treadle machine, a perfect, if a little bit particular machine, is the kind of pioneer skill I never learned young, but I'm eager to take up now. Mothers used to make the clothes for their family, and what a skill that is for showing you love those around you. A second and then a third fitting is tailoring this apron right to me, one snip and stitch at a time. It's not done today, and as the cabin heats up and drives us all out, Susan and I agreed to take one more day to make it right. But it's not now, so I hope you'll click that subscribe button to see how this apron turns out and how it looks when fluttering over the wood-burning cookstove or learning 19th century laundry, because laundry is very much on our list while the weather is good. Thanks for working with us in the cabin today. Cheers, everyone.
The sun is on the rise. By the end of the day, this dusty room will be 1,000 miles away. Once heard it said in a song, best keep to traveling on.